Hey everybody, we're alive. Um, I'm Megan Rainey, the program team lead with Girl Scouts of Western Ohio, and today we're going to explore ways to complete steps of our council's own Suffrage Centennial Patch program during this lovely social distancing time period. So, are you ready? Let's dive right in. First off, you may be wondering what we mean by Suffrage Centennial. Hey Marissa, thanks for joining. The suffrage just means the right to vote in a general election, and centennial means the 100th anniversary. So that means this is the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which is the amendment to our Constitution which guarantees the right of citizens of the United States to vote, and that right cannot be denied on account of gender. So basically, the election board can't say, "You're a girl, no vote for you." Okay? So that's the basics of what we're doing. So to pass this amendment, it took decades of determined campaigning by countless women that we call suffragists. Or if you're a fan of Mary Poppins, we call them the Sister Suffragettes. And some men too were part of this, and they worked really hard to secure equal voting rights under the law. And even then, due to some unequal application of voter registrations that some states adopted, after the 19th Amendment, it took the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawing unfair voting practices in the United States for us to have full voting inclusion for people of color. So there are still voting issues and barriers that our country is debating today. This is a really good, timely topic. So what are the actual patch program's requirements, and where do you find them? So you can find them at GSWO's website. We're going to post a link pretty soon to our Suffrage Centennial section on the page. I'll make sure it's definitely posted by this, so check back in. Hey everybody, you can see you're joining. But what it looks like is this lovely one-pager, because you can download it, and it goes over the requirements and the steps to earning this patch. And then the patch looks like, ooh, messing with the camera, that's very great. So this is our patch. It's pretty cool. And it's $2 in our shop, and when our shops reopen later in this spring, after you've completed all the requirements, you can go on and purchase one. So several hundred of you across our council have actually already earned this patch, so kudos to you guys for being early adopters. So how do you earn it? So there are age level specific requirements. So if you look on it, and I won't have you guys read it, but I'll read it. So for daisies, there are 12 steps outlined in the badge in the back to earn this patch. So daisies have to complete 3 of the steps, and one of the steps they complete have to be one of the starred steps, and we'll go over what those 3 starred steps are. Brownies have to complete 4 steps, including 1 starred step, and then juniors have to complete 5 steps, including 2 starred items, and cadets have to do 6 starred items, and then seniors and ambassadors, you guys get to complete 6 steps, including 3 of the starred items. So, what are the starred items? Well, one of the first starred items that you have to complete is the history of the women's rights movement. So this is where you get to learn all about what's going on and what kind of led to this 19th Amendment being passed. And online, there are several resources, but I really love TED Ed videos. So there's a video called The Historic Women's Suffrage March, and it highlights the first mass protest in the US for this movement. And I apologize because my dog is whining. So she's just gonna join us because she doesn't understand why I'm talking to someone. So it highlights some of the history of the movement. It goes through the controversies that impacted the march along racial lines, and then how the violent reaction of the crowd led to a more sympathetic response from the nation about the women's rights movement. It gives you the names of some really cool women in the movement like Ida B. Wells, Alice Paul, Inez Milholland to look up further. So the video, it's part of TED Ed's Well-Behaved Women Rarely Make History series, and that has some really awesome videos of women who just if you want to explore those as well. So again, it's a TED Ed video called The Historic Women's Suffrage March that really would give you a really good way to meet that one, learn about the history of the women's rights movement requirement. So the second starred requirement is to complete the requirements to earn your citizen's badge for your age level. So Brooke this morning gave you a really great overview of the citizen's badge, so we really appreciate that. If you didn't see it, go back and watch it. It's on our page. And you can find the general requirements for your age level in the Girls Guide to Girl Scouting. You can find them, troop leaders, you can access them in the volunteer toolkit. And then you can also visit Girl Scouts of the USA's Badge Explorer. Just Google Girl Scouts Badge Explorer, and that'll give you kind of a brief overview of your age levels requirements. And then you can also download them from the shop. So that's kind of how you can find out what the requirements for your citizen's badge are. And then you get to the third starred requirement is explore the history of voting rights in the US. So really for that one, you are looking into what legislation has been passed, like say the 15th Amendment, that's a really good one to look at, or as I mentioned before, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And a good way to make this interactive is to video chat with a family member who maybe was alive during some of this historic voter legislation that's come out. Probably not the 15th Amendment, that was a really long time ago. But there are still people that remember the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and you can video chat with them, great aunts, grandmas, and see how they remember, all of that happening. And then you're supposed to think about what are some voting issues, some contemporary voting issues. So a good thing to check into is, what is gerrymandering? Or what is the Weekend Voting Act, and why are people trying to change us voting on Tuesdays to a different day? So those are some contemporary issues that are, you can still find cool things on those. And there happen to be 2 TED Ed videos, one on gerrymandering and one called Why Do We Vote on Tuesdays, that go into both of those issues that are pretty cool. All right, so what are some other steps that you can complete for this at home? So you're supposed to choose your favorite female political figure to explore. So you could look up famous speeches by women like Ain't I a Woman by Sojourner Truth, or Emma Watson's He for She. If you or a parent have a library card, you can access the Ohio Digital Library and download books like Bold and Brave, 10 Heroes Who Won Women the Right to Vote, or books like Malala, My Story of Standing Up for Girls' Rights. And that can give you a more global look at women's rights and lead into another patch step, which is to look at voting practices of other countries and compare and contrast them with what we do here. So those are some fun things to do. For the drama lovers out there, and by drama I mean theater, one step is to imagine you are a suffragist and you get asked to speak at a rally in 1918. So you put together your talking points and you give the speech to whomever in your household. It is social distancing with you. So for me, that'd be mainly my dogs, who I this topic. Or you can video chat with somebody and give the speech to somebody that way. For art lovers out there, you can create your own poster or banner. So that meets another patch step. So what's your slogan? What's your votes for women, really cool banner or poster, and create that and make it part of your speech. And then snap a photo and share it on social media. And we would really love if you shared it with hashtag Girl Scouts WOH, so we can see it too, or even in this page, because we want to see what you guys create, because I'm sure they're going to be really cool. All right. If you love discussion and the debate, the ones that just like to talk it out and really work through some issues, this is kind of like the finding common ground badge that cadets have to do. We've got 2 steps for you that are really great for that. So there's run for office and host a mock debate. So for this one, you have to pretend you're running for public office. You pick the office, depends on what you want to run for. Okay, what's your main issue or platform? That's what we call the issues. It's what's your platform? What's your big call to action that you're running on? What do you see in the world around you that you think needs to be changed? So you decide and you make yourself a campaign slogan, and then you look up the issue you've chosen and you look at the pros and the cons and kind of consider what points people would make for this issue, what points people would make against it. And now it's time to host a mock debate where you and another person who is at home with you today discuss both sides of the issues. Or if you have another friend that's working on the same patch program, you guys can